In this video, I want to show you a Mexican city that consistently ranks among the best in international ratings. In 2024, it was named one of the top 5 cities in the world by Numbeo. In 2025, Moody's rated its economy extremely high. And just this year, the New York Times included it in their 52 places to go in 2026 list. Did that get your attention? Let's take a fascinating walk through the city. I'll show you the historic center, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, popular tourist spots, and also the neighborhoods where locals and expats actually live. It's sunny, as always, so I've got my cap, a bottle of water, sunscreen, and we're ready to go. Hello friends! Getting to know Santiago de Querétaro, or simply Querétaro, is best to start with its historical center. This is not just a collection of landmarks, it's an entire world, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And the best way to explore it is to put away the map and just walk. Turn into archways, peek into courtyards, discovering the city step by step. Our first stop is the perfect starting point, Plaza Mariano de las Casas, a picturesque and surprisingly calm square. From here, you get perhaps the most classic view of the Templo de Santa Rosa de Viterbo. This church, with its unusual, almost toy-like architecture, is the city's signature landmark. It's instantly memorable and incredibly photogenic. Be sure to go inside. In my opinion, the interior isn't just beautiful, it's luxurious and truly impressive. Now, let's go. We'll pass a few key points that unlock Querétaro's character. Here it is, El Danzante Conchero Chichimeca. This monument is a direct link to the region's indigenous cultures. The Conchero dance isn't just history. You can still see it during festivals. It's a reminder. Behind colonial facades, a pre-Hispanic heart still beats. And right here, a sharp contrast of eras. The monument to Corregidora Josefa Ortiz de Dominguez, a symbol of Mexican independence. For Queretanos, this is part of their city's emotional memory. After such dense history, a breath of fresh air. Jardín Guerrero, a green oasis with a fountain where the ordinary, non-touristy life of the city flows. You can sit on a bench and just observe. Now for my personal favorite, the Querétaro Art Museum. The building itself is a former monastery with a stunning courtyard. Right at the entrance, you're greeted by a surprise, Leonora Carrington's sculpture, La Inventora de la Tole. This surreal touch is like an explosion of imagination against the backdrop of strict colonial architecture. The perfect contrast. They host contemporary art exhibitions here, and every time I come, I enjoy the beauty of this building and new displays from artists worldwide. By the way, admission is free, like most city museums. But Querétaro is a deeply rooted city. Here is the monument to Santiago Apóstol, the city's patron saint. His image is everywhere. And here is the spiritual origin, the Santuario y Convento de la Santa Cruz de los Milagros. Wow, I managed to pronounce it. Here, according to legend, a miracle occurred that determined the city's birth. It's a quiet, powerful place of energy. And again, contrast. From the monastery's silence to the heart of evening life, Jardín Zenea. By day, it's a cute square, but on Saturday evening, oh, that's a whole different story. The city breaks into dance. Live music plays, people dance, laugh, families stroll with children. In these moments, Querétaro warms you with its light and noise, and you understand why it's so loved. And I have an advantage here. I live here, so I can film the city without rushing, capturing it in different moods, in the warm sunlight, which is present most of the year, in pensive cloudy moments, and of course, in this Saturday night joy. I won't overload you with dry dates, only the stories and details that help you feel the city. By the way, an interesting fact. The popular publication The New York Times included only Querétaro from the entire country in its annual list 52 places to go in 2026. While I don't agree that it's the only one, Mexico has many places worth visiting. Its position in this ranking speaks volumes. And before the final chord, a small breather. Alameda Hidalgo Park, one of the city's oldest parks. Shady alleys, fountains, the perfect pause to catch your breath between impressions. And here it is, the finale of our journey, which can only be called a grand finale. Mirador de los Arcos. From this viewpoint opens that panoramic view worth the entire walk. The UNESCO-listed historical heart framed by modern districts, and of course Querétaro's famous aqueduct, an engineering triumph that saved the city. Imagine, the 18th century, a catastrophic water shortage. One man, Don Juan Antonio de Urrutia, built this grand aqueduct with his personal funds as a gift to the city. The numbers are staggering. 1,280 meters long, 74 arches as high as a 9-story building. It delivered water for almost 200 years. The best time to visit this place is after sunset. The arches glow, the city lights up with thousands of lights. The noise of the day gives way to the evening hum. This is Querétaro in its most dramatic and photogenic form. By the way, as we say goodbye to the center, remember this image, the Lele doll. It's not just a souvenir. It's an ancient amulet of the Otomi people, and today, the official symbol of the entire state of Querétaro. You'll see it everywhere, on streets, as giant sculptures, even on traffic lights. It's the soul of this place, warm, kind, and welcoming. Oh, and I almost forgot. Querétaro has an embankment and bridges. Of course, as someone born in St. Petersburg, this doesn't amaze me, but it's a pleasant bonus. Here's a life hack. When looking for a hotel or apartment in the center, avoid this zone. It gets very noisy from passing trains. I experienced this myself the first few nights. Choose the area closer to Alameda Park. Now, some recommendations for cafes and restaurants. Let's start with Hercules, a brewery, hotel, and old industrial space that's simply pleasant to be in. Craft beer, a lively atmosphere. Locals come here. It's no coincidence the New York Times specifically highlighted projects like Hotel Hercules as examples of how history here transforms into a modern lifestyle. Next, Maniatica, right in the center. 3 floors, a beautiful interior, and the feeling that you're not in a tourist spot but in a city cafe for the locals. Upstairs, a terrace with a view of the square. Price-wise, soups from 75 pesos, salads around 150, enchiladas from 145, omelets about 155, Americano coffee 45 pesos, a great option for breakfast or just to sit during the day. There are many coffee shops, and among them are places that serve real specialty coffee. For example, Komi Coffee Spot, a small place with a pleasant interior. By the way, I wrote in detail about Mexican coffee in my Telegram channel. Subscribe, there's a lot of interesting info there. The link is in the video description. And another place, Casa Flora, near Mirador de los Arcos. A very nice restaurant. Salads from 140 pesos. Salmon with potatoes, 270. They cook really well. It's an excellent spot after a walk or for a date. Also, you can't miss the street food. Try tamales, for example, at one of the small places on Arteaga Street. There are several there, and these are exactly the spots locals stop by on their way to work or home. Very authentic and tasty. Be sure to try gorditas with different fillings. It's a quick, hearty, and very Mexican format of food that people here genuinely love. And don't pass by local sweets. In the historic center, there are specialty shops with traditional desserts like rolo de guayaba, guava paste rolled into a log with nut filling, and cajeta, which is caramelized goat's milk. Very rich, sweet, and perfect with coffee. Overall, Querétaro pleasantly surprises. There's a huge number of cafes and restaurants for any taste and budget, from simple places to very stylish projects. And that's another reason to fall in love with this city. Saying goodbye to the center, let's move on. Querétaro even has its own pyramid. To visit it, you need to go to the El Chorrito Archaeological Zone. This is one of the oldest places in the region. The pyramid was an important religious and ceremonial center long before the Spanish arrived. The Otomi lived and built here, later influenced by the Toltecs. Essentially, it was a sacred complex, not just a single pyramid. Getting here from downtown Querétaro is quite simple. You can take the C23 bus, a budget option, just 11 pesos, travel time from the center about 35 minutes, or take a taxi. The trip will cost around 50 to 70 pesos and take about 15 minutes. Entry to the zone is paid. For foreigners, 140 pesos. For Mexicans and residents, 80, free for students. The archaeological zone is open Wednesday through Sunday. On site, there's a small museum where you can better understand the history of the place and see found artifacts. The complex itself isn't very large, but the area is well maintained, with huge cacti growing around, making the place look especially atmospheric. It's easy to imagine how people lived here before, how they built these structures without modern machinery, and why this place held such significance. Plan about an hour, maximum an hour and a half for the visit. Honestly, there's not much more to do here. In scale, it's certainly not Teotihuacan, but as part of getting to know Querétaro's history, the place definitely deserves attention. If you want to understand the region more deeply and see what it was like long before the colonial era, El Chorrito is a good place for such insights. If you leave Querétaro's limits, the city reveals itself from another side. First place, Peña de Bernal. This is one of the largest monoliths in the world and an absolutely unique place. I have a separate video about it on YouTube. Be sure to check it out. Bernal is a small, very atmospheric town at the foot of the rock, where people come for nature, walks, and a sense of peace. Getting there, by bus, travel time about 1 hour 20 minutes, or by renting a car to visit many cool places at once. I've left a link to a trusted rental service in the description. The second reason to leave the city: wineries. The state of Querétaro is considered one of Mexico's main wine regions. The mild climate, altitude, and excellent conditions for grapes. For example, you can visit the famous Viñedo Puerta del Lobo. Also, for those in Querétaro, there's a unique opportunity to visit San Miguel de Allende, one of the most beautiful cities in Mexico. Colonial architecture, galleries, restaurants, an atmosphere of creativity and eternal celebration. A great option when you want to change the scenery without going far. Travel time, about an hour, a bit longer by bus, faster by car. Keep in mind the city is in another state, which is not considered safe. Therefore, it's better to travel during the day. San Miguel City itself is completely safe, being a tourist center and a favorite place for American expats. I've been there twice and would gladly go again. Many imagine Querétaro as a small, quiet city, but in reality, over 1 million people live here. There's an international airport, modern theaters, a stadium, shopping malls, and universities. The city hosts concerts, plays, festivals, sporting events. Life doesn't stop day or night. Querétaro knows how to be different during the day, work and business, in the evening, walks, restaurants, and music. It's a city where comfort combines with the rhythm of a large agglomeration, but without the chaos of a metropolis. Unfortunately, there's no metro here, but there's a developed bus network. Fare is 11 pesos. You need to buy a card from special machines found at many stops. Also, for getting around, use taxis. It's convenient and quite affordable. Uber and Didi apps work here. You can also use electric scooters, which you can rent through the Uber app. I don't recommend using them in the center due to the cobblestones, but in the districts, it's quite comfortable. Next, I want to show you where people actually live in Querétaro. You can live in the center, but it has its downsides: noise, tourists, parking problems, and old housing stock. Therefore, most choose residential districts, and the choice here is truly huge. Let's start with my district, Milenio 3. Milenio 3 is a modern residential district on the hills near the city center, about a 10-minute drive to the historic center. You can walk, but it's not for everyone. Remember, the district is at an elevation. Personally, I sometimes walk, good cardio. The district has been actively built up in the last 15 to 20 years and is considered one of the most comfortable in the city. Average rental prices here. Apartments from 9,000 to 15,000 pesos. Good new options, up to 20,000. Houses usually start from 18,000 pesos and up. Pros of Milenio 3: proximity to the center but without tourist noise. Good safety, calm atmosphere, modern houses and residential complexes, cafes, restaurants, gyms, everything at hand. Also within walking distance, Walmart Express, La Comer, a store with high prices. But the economical Tiendas 3B is also here. Beautiful views in terrain, many viewpoints. For example, I'll show you the view from my bedroom window. I enjoy it every day. The district is convenient for living, work, and remote work. Cons: few green parks inside the district, lack of bus service. One municipal bus runs here, but with an unclear schedule. I often use taxis if I need to go to the center or elsewhere. Trip prices from 40 pesos, quite affordable. Another downside is rental and real estate prices above the city average. Who lives here? The district initially developed as residential for the middle and upper middle class, close to the center and business zones. There are many young families, specialists and entrepreneurs, office and tech park workers, expats and those who moved from Mexico City. And there are quite a lot of the latter. After Milenio 3, let's look at El Refugio. This is one of Querétaro's most popular residential districts, a large modern district on the city's outskirts. It's spacious, with lots of greenery and a feeling of calm, measured life. I'm filming this place at dusk, by the pond in the park. Imagine walking your dog here or going for an evening run. Very quiet, neat, and comfortable. Important to say right away, living here without a car will be inconvenient. The district is huge. Walking through it entirely would take about 2 hours. If you need to frequently travel to the center or other parts of the city, during rush hour, you'll face traffic jams. On average, the drive to the center takes about 30 minutes on a clear road. By the way, the road itself is very scenic. I also filmed footage along the way. Prices here. Apartment rent, roughly 12,000 to 16,000 pesos. 3-bedroom houses, around 18,000 to 22,000. Pros of El Refugio: calm and safe atmosphere. Many green zones, parks, and places for walks. Modern residential complexes and houses. Nearby large hypermarkets, shopping malls, hospitals. The district is very comfortable for family life. Cons: difficult to live without a car. Large distances within the district. Traffic jams when exiting to the city during peak hours. But otherwise, it's really comfortable here. Nearby, there's another popular district, Zakia. It's often considered an alternative to El Refugio, but it's even farther from the center, and the lifestyle logic is very similar. El Refugio is an excellent option for families, remote work, and a measured pace of life. But if being closer to events, cafes, and city life is important to you, you should look at districts closer to the center. Centro Sur is a completely different Querétaro. Not colonial and touristy, but businesslike and modern. Concentrated here, offices of large companies, business centers, modern residential complexes, government institutions. The district has been actively built up in recent years and is considered one of the city's most functional. Rental prices here. Apartments from 11,000 to 14,000 pesos. Housing in new complexes, 25,000 pesos and up. Premium formats can reach 40,000. Pros of Centro Sur: closer to the center than El Refugio and Zakia. Convenient access to main highways. Modern houses, new condominiums, many cafes, restaurants, and services. More comfortable to live without a car. Public transport and taxis work better than in residential districts. Cons: less soul. and greenery than in the historic center. The district is more business-oriented, quieter in the evenings, without tourist life. There are other districts too, from the most prestigious, like El Campanario, to simple ones with typical Mexican development, about which a lot could also be told, but that would take too long. I can make a separate video if you're interested, let me know, and I'll film a video later about districts for living in Querétaro, from elite to the simplest. In the end, Querétaro is a city where Mexico shows its best version. There's no tourist chaos like in the capital, yet there's everything for a comfortable life: work, education, healthcare, culture, and a normal urban environment. It's one of the safest cities in the country, with clear district logic and a very diverse choice, from the historic center to modern residential quarters and premium zones. The city is growing but doesn't lose its rhythm. It's calm but not boring. Querétaro is convenient for living, for families, for remote work, and for those who want to live in Mexico, not as a tourist, but for real. And that's why more and more people choose it not for a vacation, but for the long term. I hope you liked my video. I tried to be as objective as possible in the review. Be sure to write your opinion. What do you think about this city? Would you want to live here? Subscribe and like for the channel's growth, and I'll shoot even more content about Mexico for you. See you in new videos.